So welcome to questions and answers. So Saturday we'll be doing questions and answers. A few we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So today's question, let me read out. In this pandemic world with so many people dying, how can we prepare ourselves to face dying? And how can we help our non-Buddhist loved ones? How can we not walk around in fear all the time? Your question is, how can we prepare for death when everybody is dying? So this is, for Buddhists, this is not new. This is not, we know the nature of samsara, that whoever is born will die. But now at this particular moment, what's happening is we are witnessing death in front of us. That is slightly different from the usual. So we hear a lot in the news and so on and so forth. But this thing's happening all the time. So, and this is what the Buddha is teaching. It happens all the time. But here right now, we are kind of alarmed, and then we think, oh no, I should get ready and so forth. And in our mind, we always have this notion that, okay, at least I will be spared, like maybe I will go after everybody. I will be the last one to go. That kind of feeling or that kind of thought we have in our mind. But in actuality, then we need to understand that, yes, death is going to happen. And to prepare for death is, what does it mean, preparing for death? Is death the thing, and then after death nothing is going to happen? We need to talk about that one too. So death is not one thing and then it stops, but after death, what is it going to be? Another life? And if there is another life, there's going to be death and so forth. This cycle will carry on. So we need to really think properly. So if we just want to be in cycle, this process is going to repeat. So we'll die, we'll be born, and we'll die again like that. But the Buddha is teaching that we need to be serious and that we want to free ourselves from samsara. Because samsara is that cycle that, this is constantly perpetual, birth and death, and so forth. So if you are taking the Buddha's teachings into heart, then we should try to, or we should aim to free ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. Now, if we are really thinking or practicing Buddha's teachings precisely or correctly, let's say, in an authentic way, then we need to talk about the four thoughts. The four thoughts kind of say, having entered into Buddha's path, if we don't train our minds with these four thoughts, our practice never becomes a true practice. Shama, che shama chik. Che shama meaning real, true Dharma. Authentic Dharma never happens as long as these four thoughts are not tamed, meaning these four kind of mindsets that we have. True Dharma never happens. So we need to train our mind on these two, contemplating on the preciousness of human body, contemplating on impermanence of this life. These two are aimed for this life. Then contemplating on infallible cause and effect, contemplating on the defects of cyclic existence. These two are aimed for next life. If you don't have this, the first two, we'll be lazy. We won't practice. If you don't contemplate on impermanence, We'll never care, like we'll be sloppy. And so first thing, we will not appreciate human life. Secondly, we will be lazy and we won't practice. So this too, it's very important. Secondly, those two, like understanding karma and practicing, like abandoning non-virtue. Even if it is a tiny one, we need to abandon, because if we engage, when time comes, this is going to ripen into what will bring suffering to us. That is the true belief, meaning correct belief, the right view of a Buddhist practitioner. If you don't believe in such a way, then you don't have the belief, you don't have the view of karma. You will be within cyclic existence. And then if you just are limited that I want to be born as God in my next life, or as a wealthy person or a famous person, or with riches in next life and so forth, then you're not contemplating on the defects of cyclic existence. So then these two, since these are aimed for afterlife or next life, then if you don't practice this, even if you practice in this life, that practice does not become a good Dharma practice. And if we don't practice authentic Dharma, it will not benefit us during the time of death. It will not benefit us after death, nor will it benefit us during the time of death. Because there will be regret in our heart that I didn't practice Dharma sincerely. So what will benefit us during the time of death is practicing Dharma sincerely and correctly. That is the one. How to prepare is then, practitioners are someone who are ready to leave this body. I keep this example. The practitioners are like people in ICU. They are going to go any moment. They're going to die any moment. But people who don't practice Dharma are like healthy people, don't care about the concern of sickness and so forth. Practitioners are like those who are in ICU, and every moment of life and death is important. So then we need to think of the urgency of practicing. In the teaching it is mentioned, when we practice Dharma in a proper way, what happens is that our interest is not of this life. We are not thinking of just this life. Our interest is of life beyond and liberation. That is, the whole mindset is totally different from an ordinary person who just thinks of this life. But a Dharma practitioner thinks of life after and beyond to transcend samsara. That's the mentality that's different between an ordinary person and a practitioner. A practitioner's mentality has to be like that. The wish, the aspiration, the interest, the keenness is I want to go to the Buddha field. I want to go to the Buddha's pure realm. And the desire, the keenness, and working toward achieving that goal. That is the mindset. That is the motivation. That is the mindset a practitioner has to have. If you don't have desire, Buddha field must be a lie. These lamas, these teachers must have just, deceiving us, faking. If you think like that, we don't have the keenness. We think Buddha field is a lie. It's not true. Then you don't have the inspiration to go to Buddha field. Let alone preparing yourself to go to the Buddha field, because you don't have the keenness to go there. So you need to understand Buddha's quality. The Buddha field. Is there such a state called Buddhahood? If you believe, then you'll have the interest. I want to go to that state which is free from suffering. In order to achieve this state, then I need to prepare myself. And all the unnecessary things of this life, we should be ready to give up. That kind of preparedness should be there. When we want to go to a trip, we are not going to bring our entire house along with us, whatever we have, our kitchen thing, our, like all this stuff. We only get to take a handful of stuff. Similarly, like that, as a practitioner, we should understand what we need to leave behind in order to proceed along. So these two things, the inspiration, the wish to travel, and what we need to abandon of this life. And this is how we prepare ourselves to go to a death. How to do that? You have to learn to do that. Nobody teaches us how to die. Nobody has done that. There is no experience of dying. We have to learn. We will be experienced all on our own. And to prepare for that moment is practicing authentic Dharma. Nothing else will help us. So practicing authentic Dharma. So in brief, that is the answer. So how do we help our non-Buddhist loved ones? And helping those who are dying and who are dead and so forth, this prayer is going to help. Believing in the power of prayer is going to help. And if you are witnessing someone who is dying, then calming them, relaxing their mind. Because as they are dying, they have this tremendous fear of parting from their loved ones, parting from the objects or the things that they are attached. There's so much attached to. That is the biggest fear. So you just need to let them relax and talk nice things. It is like, when you go to sleep tonight, and whatever kind of thought that you have before you fall asleep, that thought is going to project the dream in your sleep time. If you went with a very, something that concerned you and you thought of it and you fell asleep, it's for sure that, that's very much likely that you will actually dream about that particular thought that you fell asleep with. If you thought of something nice thought and fell asleep, that is what you're going to dream. So it's likewise, when a dying person is now transitioning or kind of dying, if you can make them relax, and if they can die with a very peaceful, loving, kind, or compassionate heart, the next moment when they are conscious again, they will have this good dream. So that will help them, enable them to take a better life. So you can think about that. And on top of that one, always pray to Chenrezi, Guru Rinpoche, Buddha Amitabha, and then you become like a mirror. You think of Guru Rinpoche or Amitabha or Chenrezi or Mother Tara. Think of them, think of the Buddhas and their Buddha's light reflecting into your heart, and you like a mirror deflecting that light toward this person who is dying or who is wandering in Bardo. We don't know where they are. They must be in some miserable existences or, any life form in samsara. So you can just think, it's your intention. You can think and then you can help in that way. Khenpo, it seems like in the middle of these unprecedented events, people's emotions are even volatile. Then, yes? Because everybody is panicking right now. And then more, at that time, you can actually see the true color of people. people who are relaxed, then they are actually radiating out love. People who are mean, then you can see they are actually projecting their negativities. That's nature. So that's what's happening. So you can see some people, like at the beginning of lockdown, what happened? In our stores, everybody kind of hoarded things because how selfish they are. They want to keep for themselves as long as they are alive. This is human. This is not human. I don't want to say it's human nature. This is samsaric habit. Also, or even more world. It's so easy to give into being. So yes, we fall into that selfish habit and so forth. At that time, then if you have Dharma, Dharma tells you selfish habit will never help you. To be selfless, to be loving, to be kind. So you need to cultivate those advice or those teachings from the Buddha's teachings. So that will benefit us all. So saying prayers, cultivating love, compassion, and then sending out your love and compassion. And whatever you do, being mindful and practicing bodhicitta. So that will help. So it all boils down to practicing that one. So if you can maintain like a practitioner, that's how you maintain your coolness. Then if you fall into your ordinary habit, becoming very negative, very, unmindful and acting abruptly or in a way that you cause harm to others or you yourself regret and so forth. That is when you lose your Dharma, when you lose your mindfulness of what you need to engage. So if you remember that, we'll always be able to cultivate virtue. And if you always remember that, we'll always remember to abandon what is non-virtue. So these things that we kind of thought are not necessary in Dharma practice, we see it very clearly now at this moment, how crucial and how precise these are prescribed to us sentient beings, that we need to actually implement this if we want to practice true Dharma. We took for granted, I can be careless about karma. Now we see how crucial it is for us. And likewise we thought, death is not going to happen, but we know how risky it is, that we could die any moment. So then prepare yourself. And when we say prepare, meaning to practice sincerely, wholeheartedly, selflessly, that is the one that will benefit us all, nothing else. The last question is, sometimes when reciting the 7-line prayer, I feel devotion for the Lama and Guru Rinpoche. Is it okay just to rest in that devotion, or must I follow with the empowerment and visualization? This is good that when you recite the Vajra Guru Mantra and 7-line prayer, that you immerse yourself in that devotion. That is because that's the power of Vajra Guru Mantra and 7-line prayer, that it can break all concepts. And that is the time when you are actually face to face with your innate nature, which is Guru Rinpoche or your Lama and so forth. And at that time, it's important to remember to receive blessings, to receive the 4 empowerments. There is a story when Marpa was the great translator of the newer traditions in Tibet, that he traveled all the way from Tibet, risking all the hardships that he went underwent journeying to India. And he met the master Naropa in India. And from Naropa, he requested the teachings of Mahamudra. And he brought that teachings. And Marpa is also the teacher of Milarepa, if you know Milarepa. So Marpa. And then one time when Marpa was receiving empowerment from Naropa through his miraculous manifestation, manifested the mandala. The mandala deities appeared in the sky in front, and he was giving this empowerment. And then Naropa said, Marpa, now you can prostrate. You can prostrate. And then at that point, Marpa kind of thought, oh, I see my Lama every day. But today is the first time I've seen the mandala deities. So I should prostrate first to the mandala deities, and then I will prostrate to the Lama. So then, Marpa prostrated to the mandala deities, and the mandala deities that radiated out from Naropa's wisdom heart or from his emanation just dissolved back into Marpa, and there was no mandala in front. So, like that, when you are immersed in that devotion, and when you have this heartfelt or like sincere experience or sincere connection with Guru Rinpoche or Lama, at that time it's good to receive empowerment because that is like a non-conceptual or like a pure state that you are experiencing. And if you receive empowerments during that pure state, you can receive pure empowerment. So it's important to do that. Okay, I think that's all. So stay well and then explore more about the Dharma and Buddha and wisdom qualities. Okay. Touch the lake and then have a very good evening. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye now.